welcome to our new home.
We are Lisa and Tim of Old Rope Salvage, and you will usually find us in our workshop at the Barn on a Farm in Cornwall, where we are currently working on the nut and bolt restoration of an old 1975 Bedford Firetruck, with the intention of turning it into the off-grid rolling home on wheels of our dreams. This was all going swimmingly, until life threw us a bit of a curveball by way of a Section 21 eviction notice, and we found ourselves facing imminent homelessness. Not to be thwarted by such a trivial matter.
Some channel might turn into some kind of homeless vlog soon, so that'll be fun. With a cat.
We decided that this would be a good time to get out of renting for good, so we went out and bought ourselves a 20-year-old Caravan. And in this video we will be sharing with you the 1-month makeover we gave this little fixer-upper before we moved into it at the beginning of April. It's all been a bit of a wild ride.
I'm done!
So strap in and let us take you with us on this new and unexpected side story.
Today is Saturday the 4th of March. We've got about a month, give or take, to completely do over this caravan and make it comfortable and nice and homely, move our stuff into it and everything before we need to vacate the house. So we've got a long month of graft ahead of us. The first thing I'm going to do today is I'm going to start giving it a really good clean, and Tim's going to try and get the electrics working because we've got battery power and I think we've got gas, but for some reason we can't get it to work on the mains electric, which is actually what we're going to be really using once we get to the site where we're going to be living. So that's the two things we're going to be doing probably for the next few days. That's phase 1. Phase 2 is then probably doing like painting the cupboards and doing all the things that we want to do to it to make it look really cool. And phase 3 will be, I guess, moving in. So better get on with it.
For those of you interested in such things, the Caravan is a 20-year-old Lunar Lexan with a fixed bed layout, something we were particularly keen on as we didn't want to be making up a bed every night, and it cost us £2,800 from someone literally called the Caravan Man near Bude in Cornwall.
So Tim's doing all the stuff on the outside and I'm doing all the stuff on the inside, which works out really well for me because I've got the gas heater on and it's really toasty warm in here. Feeling pretty good. Let's go around cleaning everything. It's been a really tough few weeks, few months really, and I suppose not really quite sure if this was going to work out or not, or if we were going to be able to find somewhere to picture and live and everything. We have found somewhere. We visited this morning and got shown around, got shown where our pictures and everything, and the plan is that we're going to move the caravan up there on the 1st of April. So it's the 6th of March now, so we've got just under a month I suppose to get this all cleaned up and painted and in pretty good nick before we actually move it up onto the site. And then we're going to give ourselves another week or 10 days or so to get the awning up and get all our stuff that we want moved into it and everything. We're not doing any work on the truck probably for the next few weeks while we crack on and just get our lives in order. So this is what it's all about for us up here at the workshop at the moment. But we are really looking forward to getting settled into our new tiny home. We're looking at it almost as a bit of a stepping stone, I suppose, between living in a house and going fully off-grid with the truck, which, you know, probably in the next 2 or 3 years we'll be doing. So it's a good way of adapting, I suppose, to living in a small space and finding out what we can and can't live without, and just seeing how we get on really. This is actually what we wanted to do when we started building the truck, was actually just live in a caravan or something while we were doing it, but we just couldn't figure it out at the time, so we gave up on the idea. So having been forced into doing it, it's actually pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, packing up everything in the house and sorting through all my stuff is actually quite a traumatic process. Letting go of a lot of things, letting go, I suppose, of a certain way of life and aspects of my past and everything. It's a weird thing, but necessary. I think if you can go through that process and reach the other side, it is definitely worth it. But we're not quite there yet, so I'll let you know how I feel in another month or so. Still got a lot of cleaning to do though.
The van was in pretty good shape for its age, but as is inevitable with these things, we quickly found it needed a few things fixing, as well as a really deep clean. Tim spent a few days figuring out and fixing all the electrics, and the water pump wasn't running properly, and the toilet was broken. We'll talk more about that later. But first, making stuff look nice.
It's another freezing day in Cornwall, back in the caravan, and as you might be able to see, started ripping out the carpet. Been told to remove the carpet. I don't know what we're going to do right in the minute, but even if we were just replace it with another bit of carpet, but I think we'd like to do a nice, like, harder wooden looking floor with some rugs. Nice. Oh, I found this beautiful piece of old oak from a wardrobe, which I think might make a nice headboard. I very much hope that that's approved of. And right now I'm thinking, well, I'm going to take the rest of the carpet out. I think we're going to be painting some cupboards. Nothing that takes too long, hopefully, because we got a big project to do and we got to move into this. But I've been given a small list of things to do. One of them isn't on my list, but I'm thinking I might have a play anyway. Got to change paint the handles. That should be quite quick. And I think we're going to be painting some of the kitchen, and I've had this a bit of an idea, so I might try that. But it means I've got to remove the fridge door.
Giving this caravan the old rope salvage treatment in just 4 weeks was going to be a challenge, but regular followers of this channel will know that if Tim excels at anything, it's spotting an interesting opportunity for upcycling in unexpected places.
Oh. I think she'll love it. The panel has taken a couple of days to actually dry. This oil isn't the fastest to dry, but it is really good stuff. The fridge, and it's a nice thin sheet this is, so hopefully it should just slide in there. Oh yeah. That's pretty cool. New fridge door. Alright, I'll screw the strip in the bottom. Lisa's currently up in the caravan doing some cleaning still, so I'll go and see what she thinks. Altering your fridge door. Right, I'm going to take you up there and see what she says. I love it. Stay over there, go back over. Alright, ready?
I thought it was going to be like gold or something, or like some kind of insane thing. That's like really just very I don't know what the word is I'm looking for. It's a good word I'm looking for.
Boring? Dull?
Well, it's just quite classy, I suppose, yeah.
It might not show well on the camera, but it's just basically the rust. It's a metal panel with rust on it, and it's just natural. And if you don't like it, it's got a second side, and you just flip it around.
What's on the other side?
Silver. A little bit of rust around the edges.
No, I like it. I do. I like it.
As soon as I turn the camera off, she's going to tell me what she really thinks.
Who doesn't want a rusty fridge?
Next, the flooring, which despite his best efforts, Tim couldn't put off dealing with for any longer. The old green carpet, the original carpet, had to go. It was worn, stained, and it smelled suspiciously of mouse wee. We considered a few options, but in the end it came down to time, cost and ease of installation, as well as aesthetics. We chose a simple laminate in dark oak effect, which came in stick-down strips from good old B&Q. It cost us less than 50 quid in the end, as we only needed one pack, and after a bit of prep work on the subfloor, it was marvellously easy to install. Or so I was told.
It's been another busy day. Oh, so I have now completed the floor. The sticky back stuff we used was pretty good. It's not the best quality item in the world, but being quite thin and the way it stuck down made this task considerably easier than anything else. Any click together laminates or anything would have been like so difficult. This was really good. I was able to slide it underneath all the cupboards and hide any cut lines, and it looks really, really neat. How long it stays like this, who knows. And I have just finished painting the cupboards, or giving them a second coat of their final paint. I don't know what you saw then. I'm so tired. And I've given the doors a coat as well, so hopefully we'll be able to screw them back on tomorrow. And tomorrow Lisa will be back in here, so I'm really looking forward to seeing what she thinks of the floor. I think she's going to really like it. It does look really good. We're going to put some rugs on it, and yeah, it's a vast improvement, and it was really pretty cheap as well, so yep, I reckon she's going to like it. Canter.
Yeah, that looks really nice.
Hopefully today we'll be able to, well, although the cupboard doors probably need another coat of paint, we're going to see if we can fit those back on and just touch in where they're not the bestest. The plan is to sort of do something with this, all the kitchen cupboards doors, and maybe take some of them off today and start cleaning them up for paint. I kind of didn't really want to get too much of the caravan in pieces in one go, because we are working on obviously moving home, and we don't want to end up with this as a massive project. So we're trying to work on cleaning it, fitting the floor, doing a set of cupboards, putting it all back again, and working on the next bit. So we're only ever a day away from moving in, should we need to.
Yeah, I think we've got 2 weeks now until we're due to move it to the caravan pitch where we're going to stay, and then about another 2 weeks after that till we have to vacate the house. So I think it's what they used to call a 5-minute makeover, pretty much. It's like the opposite of what we normally do, but it's good fun. It's actually really good fun just doing something fast.
Yeah.
Without having to kind of have too much time to think or worry about it.
Yeah, it definitely is. If we were doing this in the proper truck, this would probably be solid wood flooring, which would take weeks to do. So actually just bugging something down, not particularly good quality or expensive.
It's quite liberating, actually.
Yeah. It's not what I really like to do, but
maybe it's a good lesson for us, though, that you can do things quickly if you have to. So.
Oh well, if you have to, yeah. But try not to have to do stuff properly. But yeah,
I love it.
It's first day of spring, isn't it? It feels really warm today.
It's really nice after all Oh, like weeks of drizzle and rain and wind and cold. It actually feels like spring this morning. Tim's even threatening to take his thermals off, so...
I'm threatening to take one of my jumpers off. We'll see how it goes.
Steady on.
Yeah.
The quickest and easiest way to jazz up an old caravan is obviously to throw a bit of paint around. We had a couple of debates about paint colours, but with little time to argue, we settled on some calm and tasteful cream for the lounge and the bedroom areas, after which we both, well, okay then, mostly me, felt that something a little more uplifting should be done in the kitchen.
Yeah, the makeover continues. I'm really happy with how this is going. I really love it. I'm having a great time. This is just like, I'm in my element here. Everything that you see that I'm painting white right now is the primer, but this is actually going to be some serious green.
Green?
Really green. Like, not just a bit green, it's like majorly green. So all the cabinets that I'm painting here are going to be green, and then the cupboards in the workshop just behind us there, they are also going to be green, but Tim's going to do some fancy paint effect thing on it. I'm not really quite sure what. I'm just like, okay, you do what you think and I trust you, and it's going to be... Should
you explain why we've got to do some fancy paint stuff? Essentially,
why?
Because the only green we can find that you like the colour of is actually wall paint and not cupboard or wood paint.
Yeah, I was like the last
I want that colour.
The last thing I want this caravan to be is just like white. So I was determined to get some really good colour into it, but trying to find really nice, bright, interesting colours in satin type paint is just impossible. They're all just neutrals. So we got some garden paint and some emulsion, and I said, Tim, can you do something with this? And he was like, yeah, no problem. So there you go, that's what we're doing.
Right, that's it, let's get on. It must be lunchtime soon.
Yes, it is.
Like many things on this caravan, they don't work, and the toilet flush is one of them. So I'm just currently taking the pump out and seeing what's wrong with that, if it's the pump or the electric's going to the pump. It was a bit seized, and now it's not seized, but it's still not working. There's a fuse, but that's okay, so I've got to check if it's got electrics to it and see if it's got power going to it. Then it's the pump. If there isn't power, well, it could be the pump and something else. So I was hoping I got it unseized, it would start working a little bit, but nothing. It's all sealed as well, the wiring, so there's no easy way to get into it.
Well, Tim does the stinky job in the bathroom. Well, hopefully it isn't that stinky, although he keeps complaining that it is. We have, however, got ourselves rather a nice new addition to the bed area with a memory foam topper on the mattress. So our mattress in the house at the moment has gotten really uncomfortable. We've both been complaining about having terrible backs, so we're really looking forward to resting our ancient bodies upon this new luxurious thing. And then up in the kitchen, well, I have primed everything in white, and now comes the time for me to be getting my green on.
Staring out into the sea, waves come crashing up to me. My toes slip.
Well, I had to cut the wire to take the pump off, to check if there's any electricity coming from the wire. There wasn't, so I thought I'd take the pump down. So I connected that on the power supply in a tub of water and sprayed myself and half the workshop with water. So the pump works, but for some reason we got nothing coming in. No electricity coming into it. It's all little tiny switches. It could be There's a couple of things in the underneath the unit. There's a thing here, but then we don't really know how the Caravan works, so I might have just not turned the on and off switch. So yeah, that's definitely working. 13 volts there. Right, and we are switched on. Caravan. No, well, it's going to be somewhere up there, isn't it? I've got nothing to say. Nothing to say.
That's the first.
If I find out what the problem is, I'll tell you. And if you don't ever hear back from me, I never fixed it. And we live with it how it is. Right, I've kind of fixed up the wire, but rejoin the wire. I think it's, I don't know, mucky everywhere. Look at the skanky, horrible stuff coming out of that thing. I'm done! Oh, right. That's fiddly. Getting that back in. It's not that bad, but... So, I don't know what was wrong, but I've managed to fix this without spending 40 or 50 quid on a new pump. I did it for free. Brilliant. But what was wrong with it? Who knows? I took it all apart. I've checked all the electrics up to it. I checked the little fuse, which is like where you pull out the cassette, there's a little fuse up there. I checked all that. Nothing was bad. So I had to get the pump out. When I took the pump out, the impeller seemed like it was completely stuck, like seized. And I thought, good, that'll explain it. The pump's kind of probably knackered. So the little, at the end of the motor, right at the bottom, is where there's a little spinny round thing. And I kind of like forced that around and actually freed up. I went, oh, okay, but then the motor still wouldn't work, even though that was moving now, so nothing had happened. So I thought, oh, okay, so I cut the wire so that I could check both the motor, which worked now, and there was no power coming in. So I'm like looking everywhere, I can't find anything. And then I ended up going back to the original fuse that was underneath here, which was good when I checked it, had blown. So I replaced that by robbing a fuse from the van and connected it back up, and it worked. So yeah, then I had to rejoin where I'd cut the wire, put it all back together again. Hey presto, you just saw the effect. Dirty, squirrely water running around your toilet bowl. That's what everyone wants.
You can come out now.
I can come out of that, out the toilet. I've spent far too long in the toilet.
Check out my green kitchen.
It looks really cool. I think grass green is my favourite. Even the streaks of that grass. It looks really cool. It's gonna look good with another 5 coats. It should look pretty nice. Right, so I'm down in the workshop. It's a beautiful rainy day. You can probably hear the noise on this roof. And I am down here painting the cupboard doors for the kitchen. We've chosen to paint them green, and that in itself leads to problems in trying to find suitable wood paint that's hard wearing enough in the colour we want, which we couldn't find. So we've taken a gamble, we've painted them in emulsion, and then we're putting a coat of varnish or two over the top. I think that should stick okay, and we hopefully shouldn't have any paint peeling off. But I've tried it this morning, green on the back, and the varnish, as I thought maybe might happen, has sort of made it go a bit darker. Worse than making it going darker is it goes a bit inconsistent, and sort of some bits lighter and some bits darker, almost like the paint hasn't dried yet. If we put more coats on, it might get rid of that inconsistency, but it'll probably make the whole thing darker. Anyhow, it's the insides of the cupboards. We're going to see, I'm going to see how I can get around any of these problems. Now what I'm doing now is I'm going to paint the outside of the cupboard doors. This is all the kitcheny area, and rather than just having them a flat green, and to see if we can lift the colour, we're going to lay some paint underneath all this, build it up a little bit, and then maybe sand through it, so we get a sort of a bit of an aged look to it. It'll add a little bit of time onto it, but not a great deal really, because I'll just be slapping the paint on, and yeah, that's what I'm going to do now. So a few layers, a bit of slapping some paint about, We'll cover it over with the green, sand it back a bit and see what we're left with. So I'll get on with that. And for the underlaying colours, we've got tractor paint, we've got some primer, emulsion on the top with some water-based varnish. What could possibly go wrong? It's all a mixture.
Fact that Tim and I are both artists. In a previous life, Tim worked as a commercial illustrator and later as a fine artist. Using airbrushing, oils, watercolours, you name it, he's done it. So when it comes to using different paint techniques and colour, he knows his stuff. It might all look a bit wild and random, putting down these layers of paint, but there is usually some method to the seeming madness. Usually.
So yeah, as you can see, I put loads of coats of paint on these things. I've covered it over with a load of green, and now the fun bit really. So I just slapped the base colours on, and now what I'm doing is sanding it back a little bit. And I don't know if the camera will pick that up, but we'll get it in the Caravan when it's all done. And we're just rubbing through a few of the layers to like bring out the colours from underneath. We're just stressing it, just stressing. And I've got the approval from the boss who likes it, so now I should continue and roughly sand all of these down, making them look like they're a bit worn in places, and yeah, getting bolted back in I guess. But yeah, this is the fun bit. It's nerve-wracking, but fun bit. Just sanding into the colours that pop out from underneath.
So yeah, it's Saturday the 25th of March and we have 1 week until we are due to move the Caravan up to its permanent pitch. So that will be next Saturday, the 1st of April. Which it hasn't gone unnoticed by a few people that is actually April Fool's Day, but it also happens to be my mum's birthday, so I think that's probably a pretty good omen. We're just going to do as much as we can this next week. The sort of cosmetic improvements, if you can call it that, will continue once we're up there and living in it, probably for some time, to get it how we really want it. And obviously we will carry on filming all of that and showing you what we do and what life is like for us once we moved into it. The house that we're still currently living in is kind of slowly being packed up and everything being put into storage inside the workshop. I'm feeling really happy actually with it all and excited, looking forward to a sort of a new lease of life really. It's something that we've obviously wanted to do. Obviously that's kind of why we're building the truck for the longer term, is because we wanted to get out of the whole renting and buying, the whole housing market really, among other reasons. It's been very stressful. This winter has felt difficult, a lot of anxiety, a lot of what ifs. We always kind of felt like it would be alright in the end. I mean, we're not quite there yet, but I can honestly say with my hands on my heart, I feel happier, more optimistic and more just sort of relaxed right now than I have felt probably in a really long time. And that is really largely down to getting out of the rented accommodation and all the kind of nightmares that come with that. And love our little Caravan. It already feels like more like home than the house does. I can't wait to get my little cat moved in. She's gonna love it because it's gonna be in the sun, it's gonna be warm. I know it sounds a bit crazy to say caravan's going to be warm, but the house where we've been living is a really cold house and costs an absolute fortune to kind of just keep it even remotely heated. So this is a lot better for us, really. So yeah, we've got a lot to do this next week. Really happy with how it's all coming together. I mean, it's absolutely fine to move into it now as it is, but we're just enjoying the process of really playing with it and getting ready. So yeah, I've got to varnish the cabinets here in a matte varnish, and while Tim's busy doing the rest of the distressing, and then I'm going to start taking off the cabinets in the bedroom area, and we'll probably be painting those, well, we will be painting those in the same style as the lounge in the cream. So, and then I'm really looking forward to just like going and buying a load of new stuff like duvet covers and cushions and rugs. So yeah, it's all good. Right, cup of tea, crack on. See you later.
The next week or so passed in a bit of a blur, and with the stress of getting everything sorted, I've got to be honest with you, we didn't film as much as we intended. We managed to get the caravan moved to its pitch with the help of Martin, the man with a van, who was brilliant, and Tim, who prior to this knew nothing about caravans, got everything working, including the motor mover, so we could get the caravan properly pitched and positioned. What followed after that was the comedy antics of us two fools trying to erect this massive awning with no instructions, in between chatting to the locals and worrying about the wind destroying everything before we'd even got the thing secured. But somehow, exhausted, elated, relieved and terrified all at once, we got there. The beginnings of a new life. Away from landlords and letting agents and rising electricity bills, we were finally free. Well, maybe. I guess we'll see.
I'm recording and I've got 8% of battery. We've got to get this done quickly.
This is the second time we've tried to film this because apparently we've forgotten how to video stuff.
Yeah, so we didn't film it yesterday, moving the caravan from the workshop to our new location, a top secret location. We can't show you too much. And then we have now put up our awning, which we are told by locals is unlikely to last more than the week.
Yeah, everybody who's walked past us while we've been doing this has kind of sucked in through their teeth and gone.
Yeah, 70-mile-an-hour winds up here, top of a hill. Stunning views, we'll show you them in a little while. But the caravan is looking better. We've just put the awning up, we're setting it up, and we are really looking forward now to doing some proper work. I'm missing sandblasting and powder coating. Yeah,
it's been a long time since we did any like normal stuff. It's been a very long couple of months.
This is all very much, this is a lot of fun and setting up for a caravan and a different living, but it's also, it's a lot to think about, a lot to do, a lot to move. So it's been tricky actually recording it because we're not YouTube professionals.
Yeah, the hardest thing is actually just trying to sort out the house really and sort through all the stuff. And we've still got loads to do over there before the end of the tenancy, which is up in like just over a week now. So
a lot to do.
Yeah, it's been pretty relentless, but we love the caravan.
And for anyone eagle-eye viewers might notice, this is the first time it seems in years that I haven't been wearing a jumper.
Yeah, apparently we've moved to summer.
And here, it is summer. When we go back home, it'll be winter again.
Anyway, let's.
Yep.
We've still got loads of stuff to do here. I've not got a floor yet.
Oh,
I need a floor.
okay.
You can get me a floor?
Yeah, I'll get you a floor.
So that was all quite a few weeks ago now. In fact, we've been living in the caravan now, I think for maybe 6-7 weeks. It's getting towards the end of May and the weather is just fantastic. We are in full summer up here and it's a whole different life and we're really all settling into it really well. You can probably see Elsie Cat on the bed just up there. She's taken to it really well given that she's almost 18 years old and it's quite a change of pace for her. So we pretty much finished giving the caravan its makeover. We've still got stuff that we're tinkering away with and I've still got a load of stuff in the awning that I want to put up in the caravan, like photographs and things like that. So it's just kind of making it more homely as we go along, really. But what did we do? Well, in this area, in the lounge, we painted all the cupboards, we changed the lights. I just put some throws on the sofas, put some bits and bobs up. The kitchen, looking really great and it's green. We absolutely love it. Even Tim, I think, was won over by the green in the end and the distressing worked really, really well. The floor's holding up pretty well. It's been really hot, so I keep it quite shaded in here. If the sunlight gets onto it, it tends to lift slightly, where I guess the stickiness kind of melts a bit in the heat. But it's great, you know, it does its job. And in the bedroom area, we are sleeping really, really well on our lovely memory foam mattress. And I've got a tiny little bookshelf in there, which is a little bit of a downsizing from all my books that I had in the past, but it's great. Our toilet is working fine. It's still a bit of a mess out in the awning. Still got a few things hanging around that need to be sorted out, but it's just a really great functional space. So I'm pleased to say that tiny living seems to be suiting us quite well, which bodes really well for the truck and for the future. Tim's actually back at the workshop. I say it like that because it's kind of just over there, about a mile away, so it's really handy. He's doing some nickel painting at the moment, and after I finish editing this video, I'm going to be going back into the workshop. We're going to be filming and we're going to be back in real time with the truck project, and we're more determined than ever to get that really on the go now, because we just can't wait to be fully kind of independent and away from all the renting and everything that gave us such an absolute nightmare these last few months. So that's it really. Finally, I actually just want to say a huge massive thank you and welcome to our latest patron, Martin Rhodes. It's great to have you on board, Martin. Really appreciate your support and the comments that you left us on our last video. It's just, it means so much to us, it really does. It just makes our day to read stuff like that and know that there are people out there enjoying our videos and kind of, you know, supporting our journey. And a big thank you, of course, to all our other patrons. Thanks for sticking by us all this time. And to all you lot, all our viewers, everybody who's watching, all the comments that you left on our last video. We are back on track now and we're going to be back with the truck project in our next video and we can't wait. So from me, from Tim and from Elsie Cat, thanks for watching and we'll see you back here in a couple of weeks. Bye.